Hello and welcome to the first episode of Bill Should Never Get a Pilot License Ever. Um, so I recently went out and bought this Quest 2 headset, and it's really kind of reinvigorated my love of playing flight sim. It's amazing. I'll talk more about it as we go, but yeah, let's get this flight underway. I'm going to be flying to probably the scariest airport in the world, Lukla, up in the Alps. It's at about 9,000 feet, at a steep incline with a solid mountain at the ending. If you overshoot, it's glorious. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we do. So let me talk you through the procedure for getting this particular aircraft, the Cessna the Cessna Grand Caravan. I can't remember the model number. So I've got the fuel tanks on. Next, I'm going to turn the battery on, put on the beacon light, and then I'm going to set the fuel boost to on. And then I'm going to put on the ignition and start the starter and kick our avionics on as well. Do.
Catman to Brown Cessna Bravo India Lima 01 requesting pushback.
Now that was my co-pilot. I forgot to disable it actually, but my co-pilot has arranged for that lazy looking dude to push back the plane a bit so we can get underway. I just realised I can't remember the name of this airport. Triphaven? Can't remember. But it's probably about 20 or so minutes ish from Lukla, and a hell of a lot lower down as well. I've got quite a bit of climbing to do. I'll probably edit some of the flight out because I'll just switch it over to the autopilot settings over there and let it climb once we're up in the air. Yeah, man. Yeah. Just realised I had the parking brake on. Sorry about it. My bad. Sitting there wondering what he's doing, and I've got the brake on. Moron.
Cessna Bravo India Lima 01 requesting the end of pushback.
Cessna Bravo India Lima 01 request to end pushback received.
Catman to Brown Cessna Bravo India Lima 01 with Oscar request taxi for takeoff east departure.
Alright, everything looks good. I'll work on the strobes and nav light and taxi. Okay, so we've got clearance to start taxiing. Now, in regards to the difficulty settings that I'm using, I've got everything cranked up to like max realism, with the single exception of these little guidelines, because maybe I'm just an idiot, but I cannot figure out the taxiing system on the more complicated airports, where they give you like 50 different roads to drive down, and I can't bother with it. So that's the one cheat I allow myself, but everything else is on... oh dear God, this is difficult level, so, which is fun. Okay, so we're taxiing to the runway. I should probably be setting in some of my defaults for the autopilot right now, but I'm being distracted by the fact that I'm talking. Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah, I'll sort the autopilot out afterwards, it's fine. But yeah, one of the most immersive experiences I've ever had was when I first put this on. Ooh, I just tapped the safety thing. Yeah, so when I first put this on, first had a proper go, first took off and looked out the windows as I was doing a turn, and it genuinely felt like I could fall out the window and die. And I mean that in the best possible way. It was amazing. It properly triggered my vertigo to the point where I felt sick initially. I've got used to it now, but it was just incredible. Each time I go on a flight, I still feel that awe. In fact, I can just look about and it feels like I'm in the cockpit. It feels, it's just I don't know, it's something you can't really accurately show or talk about. You just have to try it. If you're a flight sim fan in any way, shape or form, then yeah, this is something else. Okay, so I've got the flaps and takeoff position, and I'm throttling up. Everything else looks like it should, except that screen's not on, which is a bit concerning. There we go. One thing they haven't done yet is hand gesture controls, which I really wish they would. It'd be nice if I could just move my hands and flick the switches, but I've got to kind of fumble around with my mouse, which is kind of breaks the immersion a little bit, but oh well. Okay, we're up. Flaps are up. Don't have to worry about landing gear because this plane don't have them. Well, it has them, just can't retract them. And now I'm just turning into a bank to get a bit of height and adjusting trim. Now, if you don't know what trim is, if I let go, well, I've actually just fixed it, so I'm going to unfix it so I can show you. But yeah, if I, with unfixed trim, let go of the stick, yeah, you'll notice the plane goes, oh no, we're going to die. Because currently the trim is set incorrectly. If I then adjust it to just where I want it, so now I can hands off, and it doesn't have any effect. We're not going to die. Now, trim has to be adjusted throughout the flight. It depends on your altitude, the air pressure, your speed, how many fat gits you've got in your back. I imagine, I don't know. But yeah, it's just part of flying. You want to always be adjusting your trims. Mostly, you only really have to worry about the elevator trim, but there are trims for like the rudder as well for when you're coming into land and the aliens and whatnot. But yeah, we're doing good. So I'm lining up with the sort of direction we want to be going in, and I'm just going to make sure I've got a steady climb going. I'm not going over to autopilot just yet, because I like flying. Now, this is not realistic weather today for where we are. When I loaded in the airport, it said there was a thunderstorm with lightning, and cloud visibility was like about a mile at the landing runway, and that just didn't sound very fun to me. didn't feel we were confident, so I set the weather to something a little bit more manageable. Awesome. So yeah, we're currently at 5,700 feet, nearly 800. Not above the ground, that is. That's above sea level. This is the airport's at about 4,000 feet, and the one we're going to is at 9,000 feet. And that poses a really difficult challenge, because the higher up you get, the thinner the air is, the less lift there is, which means the faster you have to go to not fall out of the sky like a rock. But given it's a really short runway, and you can't overshoot it because at the end of the runway is the cliff face of a mountain, it's a horrific airport. So obviously for my first video that had to be the one that we did. I'm sure you'll understand why. So I'm going to adjust some of these controls, turn on the flight director, set the altitude that I want to be at to about, for the cruise, at about 12,000, I think will do nicely.
01 is type Cessna Caravan 5 miles east of
Come on.
6,500 feet. Request clearance to
12,000 feet. Initiate vertical speed adjustment. Engage the... Oh, I should probably do the heading actually. Heading set to our current heading. Autopilot on. And you're dampener. Doesn't seem to give you that. Fair enough. Okay. So, autopilot is now controlling this plane. and it's keeping us at a steady rate of climb of 1,100 feet per minute. I actually thought I was on 1,000, but oh well, whatever. Airspeed's good. I'm going to reduce the mixture a bit because we don't need to need that much fuel at the moment, and lower the prop RPM a little bit too. Make sure everything's in the green. Yep, we're good. I will have to reduce the rate of climb once we get about above 10,000, otherwise we'll lose too much speed and then die. Now as we start to go over the mountains, you definitely will notice quite a bit of turbulence, and that's perfectly normal and terrifying. Where's the zoom button? I know there is one. Navigate, MFD. Uh-oh. What's the outer bit? No. Oh man! Toggle map, hand map. It's one of these. 80. There we go. So we can now see the course that we're taking. I'm going off course intentionally because I want to kind of come at the airport from the south. And avoid that kind of outcrop of really tall mountains, because otherwise we're going to have to dive and then get lined up, and that just sounds like a terrifying idea. Yeah, I'm really intrigued. Obviously I can't yet see what you're looking at, so I have no idea if this is going to translate well, but I'm interested to see how the VR comes across in the video. Probably crap. Because for ages I wasn't even remotely interested in VR, because you can't really show it. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a fun video anyway. But for the record, I was entirely wrong. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'm going to lessen our rate of climb a little bit to about 500-ish. Hey, there we go. Now you'll see the speed starting to creep up again. I could try and max out the propeller RPM to give us a bit more power, but yeah, I'd rather keep everything in the green. Now what's our ETA according to this thing? 20 minutes. Okay, well, what I'll probably do then is sign off for now, and yeah, I'll wait until we're on kind of like the beginning of the approach, because there's not much to talk about other than look at the beautiful scenery. So I'll do that, and I'll see you shortly. Right, so I skipped a good 10 minutes or so there, just enjoying the lovely scenery of the Alps whilst keeping an eye on the plane. The only controls that I had to fiddle with that I didn't mention previously was our de-icing controls down here. Now I don't think we actually need it. We're only at -8 degrees outside at this altitude, but yeah, better safe than sorry. So because that is simulated in Flight Sim. If you go up too high and you don't have your de-icing on, your windscreen will ice up, your control surfaces will ice up, and you'll fall out of the sky like a rock. So yeah, if you're on a high difficulty setting, don't forget de-icing like I did. But yeah, so looking at the map over here, as you can see, I've deviated from this course and brought us instead around here, and then we're going to kind of crop up here and then do a shot right bank into the airfield, which is yeah, I think we should start making adjustments. So I'm going to bring the heading down around to about 100. Might still have to make some corrections because of these. Ooh, that feels nasty in the best possible way. But yeah, I might need to make some corrections around this mountain. I'm not quite sure if 12,000 feet is going to do it. Yeah, it'll be close, but I think it'll be alright. And then once we're past those, we can dip in. Yeah, the idea behind this video is I've started up a new. Well, I actually registered this channel ages ago. Was it flightsimguy or something? I'll actually have to jump on LastPass to upload this and figure out what the login was. It's been that long. I never actually got round to doing it, but this headset's definitely made me reconsider that. So there'll be some kind of beginner tutorials on how to get going with flight sim, as well as just some general watch Bill make a tit out of himself, both on flight sim and more more the case with DCS World, which is a combat flight simulator that is crazy expensive to get into, but unbelievably amazing. I mean, if you think flight simulator is quite accurate, the DCS World is it's on another level. I mean, take the what's my favourite plane? Probably the F-14, the Tomcat. It's got like nearly a 30-minute startup procedure if you do it properly, and that's not sitting on waiting things. That's clicking all the buttons and getting the plane set up. It's mental. You might be watching this thinking, why would you want to sit there for 20 minutes clicking buttons before even getting in the air? But yeah, if you like that sort of realism, that is the thing for you. And that realism is mirrored throughout the sim. The way you operate the weaponry, the way you use the radar, the flight maneuvers that you have to make, landing on a carrier, stuff like that. It's all super realistic and terrifyingly difficult. But yeah, we'll give that a go. That I am rusty on though. I've not played that in quite some time. So yeah, that should be funny. I have a feeling my first few flights will not make it to video. but yeah, I'm looking forward to giving that a go. I might purchase I kind of fancy the F-18 Hornet. But yeah, the prices are mental. I mean, I'm not saying they're not justified. Let's say the F-14, I think that was about, I think it's normally about £50, and I got it on a sale at 30. But even at 50, the amount of hours I've got out of it, it's nothing. Seriously, it's worth every penny. But yeah, if you ever want to give DCS World a go, it's actually the software itself is free, and you get a bunch of planes with it. The realism levels aren't great on the ones you get with it. It's relatively basic, but the paid ones that you then add to it are outstanding. And the free ones are a good way to at least get into the game, and you can still compete in the multiplayer side of things. You can have quite a bit of fun. And then if you decide you like it, then you can, I guess, put down some pounds or dollars, or I don't know, I can't figure any other currencies off the top of my head, rupees, wherever it is you're from. But yeah, definitely worth it. Okay, looking at, see when I look out the window here, I'm starting to think, are we high enough? But if I reference the kind of display here, we're fine. So once we get past this little outcropping of mountains and whatnot, we'll be in a good position to come around to a heading of about, probably bang on north actually, and then begin descending down to 9,000, where we'll then do a sharp right bank as we approach. So we'll kind of hug this side, do a right bank, and that will bring us in line with the direction of the runway. And then hopefully we'll land. Otherwise this flight's going to be a bit embarrassing. But assuming the quality comes out good, I will publish regardless. And by publish I mean put it up unlisted and only share it with Twitter followers. But yeah, this is just a trial run. So thanks for being my guinea pigs to whoever's watching this. If anyone's watching this. Are you watching this? I hope so. Good. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about anything flight sim related, feel free to get in touch. It's a subject I don't get to talk about enough that I really do like talking about. So yeah, feel free. I'm trying to judge this mountain. I get confused, but I think that I'm pointing again. I keep pointing as though you can see me. It's so jarring wearing one of these things. But yeah, the valley that I'm kind of looking at now, I can't tell if that's, yeah, I think that's this little snaky outcropping here rather than the bit that I want. Yeah. Definitely don't want to fly up the wrong one. That would be bad. Okay, so to intercept this line, I'm going to bring us around to 050. I'm going to maintain the altitude for now, because I don't want to... No, we're going to start our descent. I've changed my mind. So I'm setting our little target here of 9,000 feet, switching over to vertical speed, and bringing it down to, let's say, minus 500 feet a minute. I'm also going to throttle back, otherwise we'll get too fast. Apologies for the sudden jump there. I had a bit of an issue with my headset. I have noticed some odd quirks with the Quest 2, the Oculus link to the PC. It's not like game destroying or anything, but occasionally it will kind of cut out or stutter, and yeah, it's definitely just made me think, do I want to invest in a Steam, or would you call it, a Valve Index? I can really see me doing that. Okay, just because of the cloud cover here, I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm looking at, so I'm going to play it safe and use the map. I think I was okay, but I don't want to risk it. Are we heading up there? No, that's that path, so we'll be kind of heading up there and then that way. Cool. Yeah, I know what we're doing now. Okay. Let's bring around to 040. We're just passing 10,800 feet. I'm actually going to slow the descent just a little bit, because I think I'm overdoing it just a tad. Okay, so that river line is that one to the right, that line's that, so we'll be turning up left and following that one. Cool. What's the problem with VFR, visual flight rules, is if you don't know the area, it's like the old days before sat-nav, driving around a place you don't know with your partner with a map kind of outstretched over the windscreen, trying to figure out where it is you're driving to. It's exactly how I feel sometimes. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the chat. Okay, so I'm going to correct our heading now to 000 north, up, that way. In fact, no, more about 10 degrees actually. Oh great, an ice cream van outside when I'm trying to record. Thank you! Just what it needed. I hate living around people. I want to live on an island with very good internet connection and nothing else. Is that too much to ask? Damn you! I think it probably is, but yeah. Okay, so because of the cloud here, and my lack of familiarity I give up with the area, I'm pretty much relying on the instruments more than my visuals. So I'm not 100% sure, and we're definitely going the right way. It's fine. Okay, so we're passing 10,000. I'm actually going to set our target altitude a little higher, just so we've got some wiggle room. It's a lot easier to go down than it is to go up, especially at these altitudes. So I'm going to hold at 10,000, and then we'll make any corrections we need to then. I'm hesitant. I kind of feel like just flying, you know, and taking it all forward. But oh, let's live dangerously. Let's do it. It's just at these sort of altitudes, the computer tends to be a little bit better at figuring out what it's doing. But yeah, anyway, I'm taking control now, and I'm just going to do my best to make sure that we're not losing height or gaining height or going in a direction we shouldn't be. It is amazing though, this. It truly is. Throttling up a little bit because we've decreased our climb. Adjusting the pitch accordingly. Come on. Actually got a bit of... I don't know what you call it actually. Like that plain equivalent of torque steer. I can feel the propeller trying to pull us around to the left a little bit, but I don't want to mess with any of the trims for now. It's not unmanageable, just noticeable. Okay, so the runway is really not that far at this point. So what I'm going to do is head towards this mountain because I really want to hug the mountain on the left side of this river to give us the maximum possible line-up room when it comes to the landing. Can you imagine doing this in real life though? God, it must be terrifying. Not piloting in general, I'm sure, like your average like A320 Airbus pilot doing the same thing every day, day in, day out, falls asleep half the time. But flying a rickety single prop, landing at some god-awful place, which I actually can just see, at 9,000 feet, it must be terrifying. I can't even wrap my brain around it. But yeah, I think, I can't quite make it out yet, but I think the airport is about over there. So we're definitely too high, so I'm going to start correcting that. Throttling way back and going into a bit of a dive, and also correcting our course accordingly. Not time for flaps yet. In fact, flaps will be quite late on this because because maintaining the velocity is important. See, who saw that spot and was like, you know what would make a good thing there? A runway. They gotta be crazy, aren't they? Okay, we're at 9,500. I'm actually going to hold it there. Correcting my trim again. I'm getting a lot of thermal turbulence. You get that a lot around the mountains. Thermals are like that hot air rising. It's what you see the birds of prey using to stay in the air for ages without even flapping their wing. Well, they're hitting me and they're bouncing me a little bit, and it's a bit disconcerting. See, I can see where the runway. Oh, I see it. I see it. Ooh, bit close there. Yeah, I can see the runway. Oh, this is going to be terrifying. Right, I'm going to give us as much space as is humanly possible here. Yes, I'm terrified. This is going to be one hell of a bank. Oh, I feel sick. I feel sick. Throttling all the way back because I'm going into quite a steep dive because I kind of misjudged the height a little bit. It's crazy. Oh, I don't think this is going to go well. Throttling up a bit again. Got to keep that speed up. Giving a bit of flap. Correcting with trim. Oh dear. Still real fast. A bit high.
500.
Shut up.
Victor November Lima Kilo traffic Cessna Bravo India Lima Lima 011 miles southwest
Okay.
9100
Okay.
inbound to land runway 06.
Oh, that was not bad. We gonna break in time? Are we gonna break in time? We are. That was actually one of my better landings here. That was fantastic. Nice. Okay, let's just find a little parking spot. And we are here. We are at Lukla. And they actually did a really nice job with the airport. If you look up some pictures of Lukla, they actually, yeah, it looks pretty close to what it should look like. Parking brake on. Ignition. That's the battery. Ignition to normal. I just wet the RPM and fuel control to cut off. That should cut the engine off. Yeah. Whew. Not a bad flight at all. Alright, cool, fine. So yeah, that was a little demonstration of flight sim via VR. I'm going to take this off now and see how the video translates to it, or the VR aspect translates to a video. It might be a disaster, but hey, I'll probably share it regardless. But yeah, thanks for giving this a click and letting me test it out. If you're going to leave comments, probably best to just tweet me, because I doubt I'll check this channel yet. But cool. Thanks very much.